Dear future officers, welcome to ethics classes. Hope and wish you are doing great. The 7th day of the year. Has there anything new in this new year? What have you done? How was the day? So I wish and hope let today be a masterpiece in your life. Having said that, let's get started to a very important thing, that is civil service values. Civil service values. What are civil service values? Before that, what are values? What makes values a very important thing in philosophy, in psychology, in the law? Why is that values are so important? What is that one thing which is present only in humans, not present in animals? Dear students, only humans have values. Is the point clear to you? So here there are numerable definitions with respect to values, but I will give you just some 3 key words. Values are those which are important, worth and their preferences. That's it. There is nothing more than that you should be learning. Then you may ask, sir, what about societal value? What about organization value? Important for an organization, organization value. Important for society, societal value. Similarly, what are civil service values? Use your logic. Values important for society, societal value. Values important for individual, individual value. Important for organization, organization value. What are civil service values? According to 2nd ARC, values important for civil service and civil servant are referred to as civil service values. Very important, very authentic definition given by 2nd ARC. Don't go by the definitions which are generally given. You should have some authentic reference. So what are civil service values? Civil service values are those values which are important for civil service and civil servant. Then the question arises, what is important for civil service and civil servant? What is important?
Dedication.
What is important? Definitely dedication. Why dedication? So here the most important thing is, definitely you are correct. Yes. Here what is important for civil service means, here comes people.
Yes.
Right? What is important for people becomes the main subject for civil service. So then you may ask, like, how can we know that what people want? That is through public interest. Public interest. Or what people want. People's satisfaction. These are some of the important aspects which you have to take into consideration. Okay. So before I go into these things, let me just brief the things which I have already told you in just 1 minute. So preferences which are in the form of importance will turn to be values. Preferences which have basis in liking leads to interest. So these are transient, these are very specific. Examples will be instincts, drives. So here these are the things which are transient. Your interest may change, your liking may change. On the other hand, things which are important to you are relatively permanent. As I have already explained you, values can become interest and interest can become values. The interests which are transient and very specific, when they become broad, dominant and general, they become values. Right? Values which are in the form of right and wrong at the societal level is said to be ethics. Generally, individual level is morals. Morals can become ethics and ethics can become morals. You are aware of that. When your values are tied to an object, it becomes your attitude. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you happy? Are you satisfied with yourself? If you are satisfied with yourself, one of the main reason is that you are following or you are focusing, you are putting your time, energy, everything on your values. Means those things which are important to you. Is my point clear to you? Values are those things which are important. They are not dependent on your genetics. They are not dependent on your instincts. So, if you are not satisfied with yourself, one of the major thing will be that you are not concentrating on your values. So, it's a very high time, my dear students. Take a sheet of paper, go home and list down the values which are important to. Then see whether you are fulfilling them or not, right? In syllabus we have got aptitude and foundational values. You are aware of that, what you should be reading. This is the one most important thing. For chapter number 3, aptitude and foundational values, you should be reading the 10th report of second ARC, refurbishing of personnel administration, right? In that specifically chapter number 16, civil service code, and chapter number 7, civil service law. Do we have civil service code as of now?
No.
Right? So, second ARC has prescribed. Do we have civil service law as of now? No.
No.
But way back in 2007 itself, there was a draft public service bill which is under the consideration of DOPT, right? So, these are the things which should be reading. So, what you should be reading for chapter 2, chapter 3, aptitude and foundation values, 10th report of ARC, in that chapter number 16 and 17. Okay. So, foundational values first recommended by in draft public service bill. Afterwards, it has been given by the second ARC also. As I have already mentioned, second ARC has proposed a civil service law. Then you may ask a question, sir, why civil service law at this point of time? With respect to civil service, all the things are not in one place. Some are in the form of code of conduct, some are in the form of precedent, some are even in the constitution. So, for civil service, there is no specific law. I repeat, in India, we don't have a law for civil service. That is the reason second ARC has said that you should have a law for civil service. So, in that law, it has provided for civil service code, right? When someone asks you as to what are the foundational values, give examples. Then you should be giving the examples given in the bill and also second ARC. In addition, you should be adding one more, Nolan committee report. Nolan committee recommendations also should be added. Civil service values. What are civil service values? According to second ARC, public expectations from a civil servant. So, please internalize this, one of the most important thing. What are civil service values? One way of defining is, these are the values which are important for civil service and civil servant. Second is, according to second ARC, civil service values refers to public expectations from a civil servant. What do public expect? What do people expect from a collector, from a IPS officer? What they expect? If you just reason out those things, definitely you will get all the values without referring to anything. Don't you think people want to be treated with compassion, with empathy? It's yes, and they are in your civil service values, right? To make the things clear, as quoted by second ARC, civil service values are those values which reflect public expectations from a civil servant with respect to political neutrality. Civil servant should be politically neutral. What does this mean? Say for example, now let me give a simple example. This is a fact in fact. You might come across many officers who often stay in the metropolitan or the capital. Some will be in distant, remote areas. What is the reason? Here, with respect to civil service, the people who are favoring to the political masters are rewarded. So, I repeat, if you are an IAS, IPS officer and if you listen to them, if you listen to the political masters, they will be giving you good posting. Generally, these are the people who will be getting posting in the capital cities. Because of that, political neutrality is broken. Say for example, think that now we have got BJP government. A civil servant is servant of people. He has to implement the laws, rules, regulations and the constitution. He should not act in accordance with the whims and fancies of the political leader, political master at that point of time. Is the point clear to you? Civil servant should be politically neutral, politically impartial. So, here BJP government is present. You should not act according to what BJP says, or you should not act in or against the other opposition parties. Then maintenance of highest ethical standard, maintenance of highest ethical standards. Then accountability for actions, accountability for actions. Say for example, I teach for IAS aspirant. If they fail, who is accountable? Definitely one of the most important person will be teacher. Similarly, if something goes wrong, law and order, the corresponding civil servant should be accountable. What do you mean by accountable? Accountability? Obligation. One key word with respect to accountability, obligation. Obligation to give account of, to give account of, obligation to give account of. So, please internalize this one. This is the complete standard, most standard definition as to what are foundational values, what are values for civil service. First key thing is their public expectation. Next, public expectations with respect to political impartiality, maintenance of highest ethical standards and accountability for actions. Okay. So, in addition, you should also be having a fair idea of the some of the things which I have already told, that is commitment to constitution, absolute integrity, impartiality, non-partisan, objectivity, dedication to public service, empathy towards weaker sections. Is this clear? Okay. Then draft public service bill. So, here there is no need to take down, but you should be knowing what are the things which are there in draft public service bill also. These also constitute civil service values. So, their patriotism and upholding the national pride. Then allegiance to constitution, the law of the nation, objectivity, impartiality. The things which I have given in green are the things which are not there in second ARC recommendation, but you should be going through these things also. I have given a detailed meaning of these things, please go through afterwards. So, this is the picture which you should be aware of when it comes to civil service values. So, civil service values are broader one, within that comes code of ethics, within that comes code of conduct. Okay. Then what are civil service ethics? Code of ethics for civil service. What is that? So, here first and foremost they are broad. So, what is code of ethics? Code of ethics refers to broad principles of good behavior and good governance. So, please internalize this. This is one not given anywhere. Once again, you have to put this according to second ARC, based on which the UPSC ethics syllabus is based. Code of ethics refers to broad guiding principles of good behavior and governance. Good behavior and good governance. Now listen to me, what are civil service values? Public expectations with respect to political neutrality, with respect to highest integrity, then accountability. That includes commitment to constitution, integrity, impartiality, non-partisanship,
Empathy.
objectivity, dedication, empathy, all those things. Then what are code of ethics? Behavior. Good behavior is most important. So, you can add governance also because it is dealing with civil service. Is the point clear to you? You should write one more important thing according to second ARC. According to second ARC, code of ethics refers to broad guiding principles of good behavior and good governance. So, here with respect to governance, all the things which leads to good governance. With respect to good behavior, how a civil servant has to be when he is at work. Then what are code of conduct? Yesterday we discussed unambiguous. So, these are precise, unambiguous, acceptable and unacceptable behavior and actions. Do's or don'ts are acceptable or unacceptable. So, please internalize this one. You should be reproducing the same one. Precise, unambiguous, acceptable and unacceptable. Behavior and action. Behavior and action. Precise, unambiguous, acceptable and unacceptable behavior and action. So, what is the difference between code of conduct and code of ethics? What is the difference between code of conduct and code of ethics? So, here first thing is they are precise and unambiguous, means they are very specific. On the other hand, when you go to code of ethics, these are broad principles. Is the point clear to you? These are broad principles, broad guiding principles. On the other hand, when it comes to code of conduct, they are precise, unambiguous. Okay? Is the point clear to you? What are civil service values? Civil service values. Public expectations from civil servant. From civil servant with respect to political impartiality or neutrality, highest ethical standard and accountability for actions. This includes to commitment to constitution, those things. Then what is civil service code of ethics?
Code of guiding principles.
Broad
Broad
guiding principles for what?
behavior.
Good behavior and good governance. What are code of conduct?
Is specific, precise.
Acceptable and unacceptable behavior of action.
Behavior and action. That's it. So, now you come to know that values means broad, then code of ethics, then code of conduct, right. So, this is the diagram. What is the status? in the world. In the world, there are many countries where there are foundational values, there is code of ethics and also code of conduct. Is the point clear to you? There are many countries where all the three are present. But when it comes to India, these two are not present. So here very, very important, prescribed. They may be in the form of implied. Prescribed అంటే ఒక చోటు రాసినది, एक जगह में लिखा हुआ. So in India we don't have this, but we have code of conduct. So what is that? It's not just learning as it is. You have to apply that. Mean to say, even like when you become an IAS officer, you are guided by code of conduct. You become an IPS officer, code of conduct, because that is there. But these are not there. Sir, is it understood? When you become an IAS officer, your behavior is guided by what in India? Code of conduct. We don't have code of ethics and foundational values prescribed. Okay. There is no prescribed civil service values or code of ethics for civil service in India. Draft Public Service Bill 2007 tried and also recommended these things. So what is the first point? There is no prescribed civil service values and code of conduct. First, who recommended? Draft Public Service Bill. Draft Public Service Bill. Next, second ARC recommended. Next, it was recommended by second ARC. So both recommended statutory backing. What is the meaning of this? People who have completed polity, have you heard of statutory bodies?
Yes.
What are the statutory bodies means? Statutory bodies.
The
Bodies which are formed by legislature, law. Bodies which are formed by constitution, constitution bodies. These are statutory bodies. If it is formed by executive, these are said to be bodies formed by executive resolution. So here it is said that statutory backing should be given. Means a law should be made. In that law, all these things have to be present. Is this clear or confused? So I repeat, here values and code of ethics we don't have. That should be there. Where? Is it in the constitution? No. It should be in laws. Okay. Status of code of conduct in India. Do we have code of conduct in India for civil servants? Yes. So what is the code of conduct? This is the one. All India Services Conduct Rules. So if you become an All India Service Officer, IAS, IPS, IFS, you are guided by this. Year is also important, 1968. Is the point clear to you? All the All India services, whether it is IFS, IAS or IPS, today their behavior, actions are guided by Code of Conduct of 1968 with respect to All India services. Central services. Okay. Central services are guided by Central Service Conduct Rule 64. Clear? All India services conduct rules. So rules, who are making rules? Your executive. If it ends with law, it is made by legislature. Okay? Central services, can you give some example for central services?
Central Service.
Hmm.
Indian Forest
Indian Forest Service is All India Service. Very good. I repeat, you are writing UPSC exam, right? In that, other than IAS, IPS and Indian Forest Service, all are central services. There are some group B state services or with respect to union territories, not to bother. Railways, central service. What is the difference between All India Service and central service? A very, very important one. Most of the students, they have confusion. India has a federal system. What do you understand by federal system? India has a federal system means Constitution has directly given power to two government. There are two parallel government, that is union government and state government, right? Union government has its own services known as union services or central services. State has its own services known as state services. Your like railways, post, all these things are central services. Is there any doubt with respect to this? In the federal system, center has its own services known as central services, state has its own known as state services. But there are some services which are common to both center and state. They are known as All India Services. So, dear students, don't get confused. Whenever I ask students as to what are All India Services, they often give this answer. All India Services are those services which are present throughout India. No, that is not the answer. Even central services, say for example, Postal Department, railways, they are also present. The answer is, in the federal system, center has its own services, state has its own services, but there are some services common to both center and state. They are said to be All India Services. So, what is the meaning of this? All India Services work for both union and also states. This is in fact one of the most important aspect. Why? Nowhere in the world you have got this service like this. Did you get the importance? Say for example, if you go to America, you will have federal services and state, but not those services which are common. Previously Pakistan was having, I heard that Pakistan has also removed these services. Okay. And next one, analogous rules applicable to employees of various state governments. So, what is the meaning of this? Analogous services applicable to various states. So, it simply means with respect to state services, states also have corresponding rules. So, here central services conduct rules. Similarly, you will have, say for example, Telangana state services conduct rules. Clear? With respect to All India Services, this is the one. With respect to central service, this is the one. With respect to state services will have code of conduct specific to that state. With respect to Karnataka state service conduct rules. Okay. But here one thing is, we don't have foundational values or we don't have prescribed code of ethics, but we have got code of conduct. There are many shortcomings. Say for example, if you take this Central Services Code of Conduct, when was they formed? 1964. How many years? More than 50 years already been over. New technology, new development, new ideologies, many things have come. We have not adapted. So, second ARC is saying that it's very good that we have, this is like they are comprehensive. Code of conduct are comprehensive, wide ranging, they all are encompassing most of the things, but there are many shortcomings in those. So, what second ARC says that there is a need to rewrite code of conduct rules. So, please note down, there are many shortcomings in code of conduct. So, second ARC has recommended to redraw COC, to redraw code of conduct, So, civil service values code of ethics status. So, here one important thing with respect to civil service values. So, whenever we use these things, whenever we use the term values, code of ethics, code of conduct, you have to use the corresponding profession. So, I repeat, all professions have professional value. All professions have professional code of ethics. All professions have professional code of conduct. Is this things clear to you? Say for example, I am a doctor, medicine, medical values, medical code of conduct, medical code of ethics. Say for example, you become a nurse, nursing values, nursing code of ethics, nursing code of conduct. You become a chartered accountant, CA, values for CA, code of ethics for CA, code of conduct for CA. Is the point clear to you? Similarly, civil service is also a profession. So, this profession has this values. From one profession to another profession, will they change or will they remain same? Change. So, is this concept clear to you? All professions have their professional values, their professional code of conduct, code of ethics. Do teachers have code of ethics? All professions have to be. Okay? In the world, there are some countries which have refined and they have civil service values and also code of ethics. So, coming to the most important thing, here most of the countries which they have reformed, they already have. One of the classical best example is Australia, where civil service values have been embedded in law. So, in Australia, what they will be having is Australian civil service law. Some have gone one step ahead. Say for example, Poland. In Polish, you have got civil service values in constitution itself. How beautiful is this? In constitution, you have got fundamental right, directive principles. Like that, in Poland, you have got civil service values present in the constitution itself. On the other hand, some countries have values in laws. Say for example, Right to Information Act, it is a law. Similarly, civil service law. Okay, is the things clear to you? So, civil service code, which I have already explained. At the top, what will be there at the top? Civil service code. At the top, you will be having civil service values. In the second, you will be having code of ethics. Then you have got code of conduct. The same thing which I have already said, apex values, second code of ethics, then code of conduct. in the world level, Poland is having civil service values in the constitution itself. In Australia, you have got in the law rules when it comes to when is sorry. Okay, some countries have at constitution level, some at the level of legislation law. Okay, code of conduct is inevitable and present in all the countries, and all the professions should have this one. So all the countries have this one. Let me ask you a very important question. IAS officer, is it a human being? Is he a citizen? Then why IAS officer or IPS officer are having lot of restrictions? They are not having the same freedom what general public have. Can they contest in election? IAS officer, can they contest in election? Why? Why you are barring an IAS officer from contesting in an election? Because he is also citizen, he is also right. Here, don't you feel this is deceiving his opportunity to get into politics? What is the mistake he has done?
He is already
Right? Say for example, a civil servant should marry only one spouse at a time. Why is this restriction for civil servant? It is in civil service code. So the same question here, although all the citizens are subjected to the laws of the land, in case of civil servants, there must be standards of behavior more stringent than those of an ordinary citizens. Why? So think it over. We will take up this question tomorrow. So the question is simple. Civil servant is a citizen. Why he is having standards of behavior which are stringent, which are difficult when compared to the general public? Say for example, they are not allowed to contest in elections. Why? Not only that, many other aspects. Okay. We have discussed about integrity. Then what are the other things we have discussed? Integrity, impartial and non-partisan. So here impartial and non-partisan, one important thing is there. What is that? Decisions or actions are biased. Biased. Please note down this term, biased. So when an individual is partial, when an individual is partisan, he is biased. In case of partiality, there is individual bias. In case of partisanship, bias towards a party. Then you have got objectivity. What is objectivity? Objective, basing decisions, actions, behaviors on facts, truth, evidences which can be measured, which can be observed, verifiable. Object means verifiable and measurable. Then what is the next one? Dedication to public service. So what is the meaning of dedication? First preference, complete, like full undivided attention, complete involvement, maximum time, maximum energy, maximum what all you can, dedication. Now you have got empathy, tolerance and compassion towards the weaker sections. So what do you understand by empathy? What do you understand by sympathy? What do you understand by compassion? Okay? Sympathy is pity. There is a beggar. He is not having legs. అయ్యో అతనికి లెగ్స్ లేవు పాప, అయ్యో పాప. అది ఏంటి? సింపతి. అయ్యో మన పిల్లలు చాలా కష్టపడుతున్నారు ఐఏఎస్ అవడానికి. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్? సింపతి. సింపతి ఈజ్ జస్ట్ పిటీ. నువ్వు ఇంకేం చేయరు అంతే. ఆన్ ద అదర్ హ్యాండ్ నెక్స్ట్ ఈజ్ ఎంపతి. Empathy means understanding others accurately. Accurately. Understanding others accurately. To be precise, you can say putting yourself in others' shoes. Putting yourself in others' shoes. Say for example, like I'm a boy. How do I understand the problem of a girl? How can I understand? When I put myself in a girl's shoes. అప్పుడే కదా అండర్స్టాండ్ అయ్యేది. How do you understand the problem of a teacher? How do you understand the problem of a father, mother, a brother? How can you understand? When you put yourself in other shoes. Say for example now, we almost often, like previously before the state was bifurcated, there was only two leaders. One is Rajshekhar Reddy, another is Chandrababu Naidu. Almost all the people in the Telugu states, they were thinking of only these two leaders. They were aspiring to become these leaders. Revered, appa em life, em idi. There is a different thing. One used to come in black convoy, another in white convoy. Those glamour, all these things. But you can understand them better when you put yourself in their shoes. Right? Chandrababu Naidu, he was the chief minister. Afterwards, he was not chief minister. అప్పుడు వాడికి ఎంత ఇది ఉంటుంది, కష్టం ఉంటుంది కదా. Now Jagan enjoyed all the power. Now where is Jagan? Is it at home? Almost absconding, you can say. Nobody knows where he will be for many reasons. So వాళ్ళు అక్కడ ఉంటారు అని చెప్తారు కానీ అక్కడ ఉండరు. They say generally that he will be there in Bangalore, యలంక ఆ ఏరియాలో ఉంటాడు అని చెప్తారు. సో why I said is, ఇప్పుడు మన జగన్ గారికి బాధ ఉంటుందా లేదా? మీరు హ్యాపీగా ఉన్నారో జగన్ హ్యాపీగా ఉన్నారో? ఇప్పుడు కంపేర్ టు హిమ్ యు ఆర్ హ్యాపీ కదా. ఎప్పుడు ఏమైపోతుంది అని తెలీదు. సెంట్రల్ వాళ్ళు కూడా పట్టుకుపోయే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉంది. దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ హీ ఈస్ గివింగ్ సపోర్ట్ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైమ్ బాబు ఈజ్ బిహైండ్ హిమ్. ఏమైనా వస్తే ఏమైనా చేయాలి అని ఎంత ఇది ఉంటుంది ప్రతిరోజు ప్రతి క్షణము. హిస్టారిక్ డిఫీట్, isn't it? Nobody thought, because the programs he gave, everything, he even distributed like all the groceries, everything to the doorsteps. He gave thousands, lakhs of jobs. Evaru anukoledu. He lost. So why I said is, you also should put yourself in others' place. Then you understand them accurately. What is empathy? Understanding others' feelings, emotions accurately as it is. మనము ఒక ఊహాపోహాలు ఉంటాము. రిచ్ పీపుల్, దే హ్యావ్ గాట్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్, దే ఆర్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ. అందాని, దే ఆర్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ, దే ఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ lakhs and crores. At the same time we too see these beggars. వాళ్ళు ఎంత హ్యాపీ లైఫ్. ఈరోజు అన్ చేస్తారు, తిన్న అలాగే తాగుతారు, పడుకుంటారు, అయిపోయింది. మాకెందుకప్ప ఈ బాధ సివిల్ సర్వీస్ 5 years నుంచి చదువుతున్నాము. సో హియర్ యు ఆర్ థింకింగ్ దోస్ థింగ్స్. వై? బికాజ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ పుట్టింగ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ ఇన్ దేర్ షూస్. బెగ్గర్ లైఫ్ అంత ఈజీ ఉంటుందా? బట్ you understand the things when you put yourself in their shoes. Similarly, when you become a collector, a old man comes to you. మీరు అప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి? You should put yourself in his shoes. ఎందుకు? To understand what exactly he feels. What are his problems? A girl come to you. Say for example, a victim of atrocity. ఎవరో వస్తారు అండ్ దే వాంట్ టు గివ్ ఎ కంప్లైంట్ దట్ దెర్ వాజ్ ఎ సెక్షువల్ హరాస్మెంట్. అప్పుడు మీరు ఆ సిచ్యుయేషన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకోవాలంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు పుట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ ఇన్ దేర్ షూస్. అప్పుడు నార్మల్ కేసు రకంగా మిమ్మల్ని అడగకూడదు. ఆల్రెడీ యు ఆర్ ఇన్ ద డిస్ట్రెస్ కండిషన్. ఓకే ఓకే సో సింపతి ఈజ్ జస్ట్ పిటీ. Empathy means understanding others' feelings, emotions, everything accurately. So for that, what you should be doing? You should put yourself in their shoes. You should see the world through others' lens, their lens. Right? Next comes your compassion. Compassion means empathy plus doing something to remove the difficulty. I saw a beggar. I say, ayyo, amma, enta bada. That is sympathy. Me putting myself in that beggar's position and understanding him accurately. That is empathy. Doing something to remove the difficulty is said to be compassion. Or a decision, a commitment. So, samjhayinda? Understood? Any difference here? Okay. The same thing, like one more, like UPSC, a beautiful question they have asked. You should think as though you know everything, because there is nothing required here. Common sense is sufficient to answer this. Apart from intellectual competence and moral qualities, empathy and compassion, some of the other vital attributes that facilitate civil servants to be more competent in tackling the problems. So please read this. Okay, now leave apart all these things. Now I want you to like differentiate the things. They are saying that apart from ante in addition kada. So a civil servant should have intellectual competence. So intellectual competence means that is with respect to your abilities, inborn capabilities, right? Individual, intellectual ability, those things. Then moral qualities, following ethical standards, following ethics. In addition, he should have empathy and compassion. So what is the difference between these? So let me give you the one thing. Intellectual capacity means that thing what you have, your intellect, your ability to correlate, analyze, interrelate. Moral qualities means being good, not telling lie. In addition, you also should have empathy and compassion. Why? One is having intellect, high IQ required, okay. Moral qualities, ethical qualities. In addition, empathy and compassion required. Why? The thing is, these are the thing solve the problem. Yes, how they helped in solving the problem? Your intellect also helps.
And moral
here, how this helps? How is this different from these? That is my question.
By putting ourselves to their
Here, this is about social understanding. How can I understand you better? Can I understand you better with intelligence?
not properly.
Not properly possible. But you can be understood when you are empathetic. If you are intelligent, does it mean that you will help others? You are an intelligent person. Does that mean that you will help all the people?
Maybe.
Maybe or may not be. If you are intelligent, it says that you will be good in maths, you will be good in science. It doesn't say that you will be helping others. It doesn't say that you can understand them better. So here you are a civil servant, servant of the people. To understand the people, you should have empathy. And you should have commitment to ameliorate their distress, remove their difficulty. So you should have calm. Is the point clear to you? So intelligence required, ethical and moral things should require. In addition, this is also required. So you have to make these things separately. Intelligence, these are the things. Moral, these are the things. Empathy and compassion, this is about social relations. Okay? So weaker sections of the society. Who are the weaker sections of the society? I may belong to weaker section of the society. Women, do they belong to weaker sections of the society? Vulnerable section of the population, evaru? You know the answer. Reservation is given to whom? All the people for which reservation is given, in a blind way you can take their weaker sections. That is the reason they have given. Free bus for women. Enduku? Why? Weaker section. Right? So women, children. Not all women are weaker. So it's not like that. It doesn't mean that, say for example, I belong to some community. Women is a woman. Whether it is SC, ST, Reddy, Kamma, Gowda, Sharma. So definitely they have got their own problem. So it may be because you are not empathetic towards girls. Like by the way you said, not all women are weaker section. Means to say rich women don't have problem. No. This is a patriarchal society. Everywhere there will be the same problem. So weaker sections and ఏంటి? All the things SC, ST, OBC, now economically backward. Then what else? Who are the weaker sections? So there are many. So you should be telling them very fast, like women, children, SC, ST, OBC, ESWO, victims of atrocities, natural calamity, old age. Don't you think they are vulnerable? They are weaker sections. SC, ST, tribe, old, differentially abled, mentally challenged, minorities. So with respect to empathy, I would like to tell one thing here. How do minorities feel? In a majority, dominant, how they feel? I will give one example which I experienced. That we can do, we can understand. How can we understand the problems of minorities?
By empathy.
Very good. What is empathy? Accurately understanding, grasping their emotions, their problems, everything. Say for example, there is a city. In that majority belongs to one religion and there are some minorities. How will they feel? Will they feel very safe?
No.
So I will give an example. Like long before, when I was a student in Hyderabad, I used to stay in Mushirabad, Gandhinagar right side area. It is said to be mini Bangladesh. I used to stay there. That is a different world there. And when I was staying, I was afraid on some of the major Hindu festivals, because there used to be a big rally, those kind of things, especially on Hanuman Jayanti, something like that, there will be a big procession in this road itself. I was afraid on those days, because I am surrounded by people who are of not my community, and there is something going on. So don't you feel the same way the minorities will be feeling if they are surrounded by other community people? Right? Weaker sections means you should be writing all these things. And why did I highlight women and children here? So here in all the weaker section, you should give preference to women and children. Disableds, in that also women and children untar kada? Minorities, women and children. Elderly, women and children. Don't you think preference should be given to them? So that is one of the way in which you show your capabilities with respect to decision making. Okay. Step into others' shoes. Look at the world through the eyes of others, understanding and experience others' point of view, feelings, problems and aspirations. Empathy is the ability to sense and understand others accurately. So please write down, this is the most authentic definition. You won't get this kind of like crystal clear definitions. Empathy is the ability. Empathy is the ability to sense and understand others accurately you should be. Madam, are you empathetic? Are you empathetic? How you say that you are empathetic? What is empathy?
Ability to sense the understanding of others.
Others. So if you have got the ability to understand others accurately, most of the problems are solved, my dear students. I'll go in depth with respect to this concept when I take up emotional intelligence. You might have many strained relations, always two brothers quarreling, two friends quarreling. So majorly this is lack of empathy. When you understand why your father, mother or brother always scolding you, definitely the problem is pretty easy. The solution to the problem is pretty easy. So if you are empathetic, it means that you understand others accurately. How can you understand accurately? By putting yourself in other shoes, right? Okay. Here you take a diagram with respect to empathy, sympathy and compassion. You should be very fast. Sympathy, empathy and compassion. So affect, that is feeling, behavior, cognition. Cognition means your views, your thought. So sympathy. In sympathy, is there any behavior? You saw a beggar. You said, Ayyo Papa, Ayyo Amma. So here it's just feeling. No behavior, no correct cognition. Empathy. Here there is affect and also there is cognition, because you are putting yourself in other shoes. So you are understanding them. And with respect to compassion, you have got all. So what is missing in empathy? Behavioral component. You are just understanding, but you are not doing something to overcome that problem. Is the point clear? What is the difference between empathy and compassion? In empathy, you are understanding the problem accurately, but you are not solving the problem. In compassion, what you are doing? Solving the problem or trying your best to solve the problem. Is the point clear to you? So you can say compassion is equal to empathy plus commitment to solve the problem or difficulty. Compassion is equal to empathy plus commitment to solve the problem, to ameliorate the difficulty. Then the question arises, can we have compassion without empathy? Can we have compassion without empathy?
No.
No, because how can you solve the problem without understanding? Good answer. Why empathy? Why a civil servant should require empathy?
To
Number
understand a
problem accurately. Only when you understand the problem, you can find the solution. And here, most importantly, you are dealing with people. People are not objects. They have got their feelings, right? They have got their emotions. They have got difficulties. This can be understood only with empathy. Like, and also, it makes you an effective and efficient. Since you are understanding the problem, say for example, a teacher. If the teacher understands the students better, he can deliver the things in a better way, right? Okay. Compassion, empathy plus commitment to ameliorate the distress, mean to say to remove the difficulty. That's it. It involves, as I said, affect, behavior and cognition. Why compassion for weaker section? Yes. Why should you help the weaker section?
To empower them.
To empower them. Very good. Then
To fulfill their needs.
to fulfill their needs. Then because they are in the state of helplessness. A poor person, my income is just 100 rupees per month. Should I need some help or not? Because I am not able to. Say for example, you are a victim of sexual harassment. Is there any need of compassion to you? Compassion to you or not? Definitely. So here, we need compassion because they are in a state of helplessness. They need help, and it is your duty to help them. Okay, now let me ask you one more question. Eating cockroaches. So how you feel eating cockroaches? Do you eat cockroaches? Miru? Why? So think I am eating cockroaches here. How you will feel? ఒకటి అక్కడ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది పట్టని పెట్టుకుని ఇలా పెట్టుకుంటాను ఇలాగంటారు అంటే ఓకే ఈటింగ్ డాగ్ ఇప్పుడు మటన్ అంటే 100 కిలోమీటర్స్ ఉంటే వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు చికెన్ అంటే ఆల్రెడీ వెళ్ళట్లేదు డాగ్ అంటే not at all going. But in places like Nagaland, Northeast, these are the most preferred. I often go to Nagaland and Northeast. In Northeast, you won't find even a single dog on road. Do you find any goat or sheep walking on the road? ఇక్కడ ఎక్కడైనా తిరుగుతుంటాయా ఫ్రీగా? వై? పట్టుకొని తినేస్తారు. అదే డాగ్
తిరుగుతుంది.
ఎందుకు?
ఎవరు తిన్నారు?
ఎన్నోరు తిన్నారు. అలాగే అక్కడ అది పట్టుకొని తినేస్తారు, అందుకే డాగ్ ఉండవు స్ట్రీట్లో. అండ్ దే ఈట్ డాగ్. So here, when I said these things, you find this thing to be something unusual, disgusting. మాకు మీ లాక్ చేసుకున్నారు డాగ్ ఈటింగ్, కాక్రోచ్ ఈటింగ్ అంటే. స్నేక్, ఇక్కడ ఒక స్నేక్ ఉంది తీసుకోండి ఏంటంటే ఏమంటారు?
భయపడి పక్కన
అలాగే అక్కడ ఏంటంటే టక్కనే తీసుకొని కట్ చేసి టక్కటక్కడని తినేస్తారు.
చైనా.
చైనా, నాగాల్యాండ్, ఇన్ దోస్ ఏరియాస్.
నాగాలాండ్ స్నేక్.
Yes. So why? So here what I said is, there are some people who eat cockroach, but you feel disgust. But you eat chicken. You eat chicken, right? For me, I don't eat even the egg. Naku chicken ante
You feel disgust.
So this is a kind of thing. So enduku idi? If you feel disgust, things like that, we can say that that is one of the thing of intolerance. నేను నాన్ వెజ్ తినట్లేదు, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఈటింగ్ నాన్ వెజ్. ఇఫ్ దే ఆర్ ఈటింగ్, లెట్ దెమ్ ఈట్.
Yes.
యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఈటింగ్ డాగ్, అదర్స్ ఆర్ ఈటింగ్ డాగ్, లెట్ దెమ్ ఈట్. వాట్ ఈస్ దేర్ యువర్ ప్రాబ్లం?
No problem.
సో లెట్ దెమ్ ఈట్ cockroaches, and if possible provide lot of cockroaches. So why do you use heat, all these things? You make a cockroach trap so that you will get lot of cockroach and you can provide your friend who will be eating. So this is said to be tolerance. When we see things which are different than us, we are to a greater extent intolerant. వాడు అది తింటాడు, కానీ మనమే అది చేస్తే say for example, now if I would have said something like live-in relations. Live-in relations, is this good or bad for you, sir?
According to modern, it is trending good.
It is good. It is good. According to you, what is the thing?
Actually, it is bad
It is bad. Why?
because
Wasting time.
because the parents who are there, they are sending their students to study, and but they are doing like here. But these couples who are living in relations, they don't know to their parents.
So here there is high success of people who are in relations. ఇద్దరికి చాలాసారి సర్వీస్ వచ్చాయి, అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక్కరికి వచ్చాయి. చాలామంది ఇక్కడ ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళకి ఏమి కూడా రాదు.
It is
So here already the things have changed. Maybe your friends or persons who know may be already having. So you won't feel that get disgust. This if I would have used 10 years back, sir ఏం చెప్తున్నారు, क्या बोल रहे हैं आप? This is a very illegal relation, outside marriage. So how can we encourage this? What will happen to our culture, our society? The whole system will collapse. So now the things have changed. One of the reason is they are having considerable number now. You cannot discard, and there will be one fellow in your group also. First it was not the thing,
now the things are all changed.
because they also have got the number. So here why I said is, generally we do this one. Say for example, if you are drinking alcohol, or you know some people who already drink alcohol in your family, you feel that drinking is not a problem. So is drinking a problem? So if you have not come across, then you will say that. Say for example, I have a relation, boyfriend or girlfriend. Then I say, oh, boyfriend, girlfriend, common nowadays. What is wrong in that?
Yes.
If you have consent, there is no force.
Yes.
What is wrong in that?
No, nothing.
So here our things are determined to a great, like how we evaluate the things are determined to a greater extent by what we have experienced. Some may say that no, those things are wrong. The people who eat non-veg, they say eating non-veg normal. The people who don't eat non-veg, they say, how can you kill an animal?
Yes.
అలాగే నువ్వుని చంపేసి నిన్ను తినేస్తే. So that too, say for example, anything like a goat, a chick or anything, how joyfully it will be playing. You will cut that and you will eat and you will relish. And that you also say, నాకు లెగ్ పీసే కావాలి. So here, these are the things which you should not put when you are a civil servant. So what is tolerance? Tolerance is harmony in difference. Ethnocentrism and cultural relativism are the two terms. You just note down the terms. Ethnocentrism means judging others, judging others culture by taking your culture as the standard. What is cultural ethnocentrism? Judging other cultures by taking your culture as the standard. Next, cultural relativism.
Hello.
Evaluating
Ethics class.
or judging other cultures, any culture, not other culture, any culture in its own context. Next slide. Tolerance is acceptance, respect, and appreciation of the diversity and the difference. Next line. Tolerance, T is harmony in difference and diversity. Why we should be tolerant to others? The reason is we are all unique, one of its kind. So in this whole world, nothing is same. You are different, I am different. So we are all unique. So when we are unique, when we are all different, definitely there will be differences. So there has to be harmony in this one. That is said to be tolerance. Why we need tolerance? Tolerance is to be human and to respect humanity. So note down the first one. Tolerance. Why tolerance? To be human and to respect humanity. Next, it brings unity in diversity. Unity in diversity. Okay. Now write a question. Tolerance and anger. Tolerance and anger. Sorry, intolerance and anger are enemies of correct understanding. Are enemies of correct understanding. Okay. So you take this as a homework and you should be coming up with this answer. You should try. Intolerance and anger. When you are intolerant and when you are angry, you won't understand the things correctly. How? You should explain that. We will discuss that to a greater extent. How to develop tolerance? How to develop tolerance? Say for example, I belong to one community. I am intolerant towards another community. Say for example, I belong to Mohammedan community, Muslim. I am intolerant to Hindus. Think that you are a Hindu. You are intolerant to Christians or any other religion. I am intolerant towards others. How can tolerance be developed? How can tolerance be developed? How can tolerance be developed? How can we develop tolerance? Proper understanding. Don't you think proper understanding is required? If you understand the things, definitely there will be tolerance. Then how? What are the other ways in which you can develop tolerance? Think it over. By knowledge. With ignorance, there will be intolerance. Tolerance can be developed by knowledge, by being open minded, openness, by communication, by exchanging the views. Say, for example, if you take Banjara or Lambada community, they have got different traditions, different things. When you communicate, when you have the knowledge, when you are open minded, you will be tolerant. లేదంటే వాళ్ళు అలా ఎందుకున్నారు, వాళ్ళు ఎందుకు చేస్తారు. దెన్ ఫ్రీడమ్ ఆఫ్ థాట్ అండ్ కాన్షియస్ అండ్ బిలీఫ్. When your thought, when your beliefs are parochial, that creates intolerance. So how can you develop tolerance? By knowledge, jnanam, openness, being open minded, by communicating the ideas. Then can you say we can be tolerant by empathy? When you understand them better, you will be tolerant. Okay. Now there is a question as to what extent you have to be tolerant. Say for example, should you be tolerant when there is injustice? When there is a violation of human rights, should you be tolerant? When the things are based on superstitious beliefs, should you be tolerant? The answer is no. So you should not be tolerant with respect to the things when there is injustice. When there are things based on the things which are superstitious, irrational. Okay. So you take this as a homework. Intolerance and anger is the enemy of correct understanding. How? Right? So these are the things related to civil service values. As I told, this is one of the easiest. So just listen to me. You have got three, like 7 chapters. 1, 2, 3. Third is this one. Third, civil service values. This is one area where you get direct questions. So where you are getting direct questions, civil service values. In other cases, they are pretty different, and to a extent it is difficult. And this is the area where most of the times you will be getting questions. Okay. If you have got any doubt with respect to this chapter, please let me know. Okay. So if you don't have any doubt, we'll wind up the session here. Before I wind up, let me tell you one thing. Enjoy the process. Success is yours. There is nothing in the goal. It is always in the process. If you concentrate on the process, if process is giving you reward, if you are feeling happy, if you are feeling like satisfied when you are studying, that is the reward, and this definitely leads to your goal. So enjoy the process, success will be yours. Thank you one and all.
సార్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అనేది క్వాజీ ఫెడరల్ కదండి సార్, మీరు ఫెడరల్ అని చెప్పినారు.
So here, 1 minute, I have shut down.
That remote.
Okay.